Mark Lowen reporting there. Let's talk now to Professor Gulnur Aybet, Senior Advisor to the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Thanks very much for joining us. What do you say, Professor, to those who are worried about democracy and the lack of freedom if this referendum is won by Mr. Erdogan?
Yes, well, I mean, the people who are actually arguing that if a yes vote comes out and the country will inevitably drift towards some kind of authoritarianism, they don't provide even one argument from the proposed amendments to the Constitution to support their claim. And when you actually look at the proposed amendments, they actually bring more checks and balances than the current system.
Well, the critics say that, for example, that the President will be able to enact laws by decree, he'll be able to dismiss Parliament. Parliament will have very limited powers to investigate or impeach the President.
That's not true. Under the current system, which is based on the 1982 Constitution drafted by the generals from the military coup, the President has enormous powers, but he has no accountability. The proposed changes will actually make President accountable to Parliament. Parliament can actually investigate the President, and if found guilty, they can take him to the Supreme Court. That doesn't exist under the present system.
Why does President Erdogan want these changes? And if what you're saying is true, why have we seen such dissent and worry about the changes?
Well, because I think, a lot of the campaign on the no side has been very politicized, and they're focusing on one man. And I think this is something to do with the political reality of Turkey today, in where you have a strong party that's been in power for 15 years with a strong leader and a very weak opposition. I mean, you just mentioned about the Kurdish issue. I mean, the HDP squandered a golden opportunity to be in parliament when they couldn't break away from the terrorist organization, the PKK. And what did they do during the peace process? They dug trenches and they put roadside bombs, and they betrayed the peace process because they were doing this while the peace process was going on. So that, unfortunately, has also left vacuum in the opposition with regards to the southeast. But, a weak opposition, a stronger party has led to, yes, a majoritarian parliament, but I think that's the political reality of Turkey today, regardless of whether you continue in the present system or the present or the proposed system.
This president
are focusing on that rather than the amendments, which are necessary.
This president has rounded up a lot of journalists, a lot of academics. If he loses the referendum, will he accept the result?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, nobody is above the will of the people. And the president has said that time and time again himself. And that's why he's taking this to the will of the people to see what they want to say. But I think, these amendments, a lot of people in this country believe that they're necessary because what we have right now is a hodgepodge system based on the 1982 General's Constitution from the coup from 1980. Plus, after the 2007 referendum, we now have a directly elected president. So we have a directly elected president and a directly elected parliamentary government. So you have two heads. It's not even a parliamentary system as it used to be before 2007. It's a de facto presidential system with no presidential accountability. So that's why these changes are necessary.
OK, Professor Gulnur Aybet, many thanks indeed for joining us here on BBC World. Thank you.